I'd like to simplify chipping for you. We have the rule of 12, which is pretty reliable, but the mathematics is a bit convoluted. The rule of 12 works very well when we keep in mind Gary Player's famous quote, "Go high, you're going to cry. Keep it low, get the dirty hose." So we're going to take that with us, the hose, and we're going to use ratios. So it's a Horatio 6-8-10 system. The 6-8-10 system is 6 iron, 8 iron, 10 iron, otherwise known as a pitching wedge. Each of these clubs has a ratio. The pitching wedge has a ratio of 50-50, 50% carry to 50% rollout. We have 12 yards from here to the tee in the green, and from the tee in the green to the hole, we have another 12 yards. So we use the pitching wedge. I like to use toe down chipping. So you stand closer to the ball, you pick the handle up, and then you swing like a putt. And you hit the ball off the toe of the club. That's how we keep the ball low to get the dirty hose off the toes. So we look at our landing spot about halfway. We pitch it up there, it lands about 12 yards, and now it rolls out about 11.5 yards. Pretty reliable. But this is really working best for me with toe down chipping. Try another one. That one landed about 12 and rolls out to about 11. The 50-50 ratio works well with the pitching wedge. If it's uphill, you decrease the loft to the 8 iron. If it's downhill, you decrease the loft to the sand wedge. Same ratio, more loft. If the green speed is fast, you do the exact same thing. Fast greens, increase the loft. Slow greens, decrease the loft. Next we have the 8 iron. The 8 iron has a ratio of 1/3 carry, 2/3 rollout. So on this we have 12 yards to the tee, and we have a 6 yards to here. 6 yards from here to the tee, we use a toe down 8 iron, exact same style as the pitching wedge. Make it land in line with the tee. That tee might actually be right on my line. Hopefully I don't hit it. A little bit short, and you can see we end up short. So our main goal with this Horatio 6-8-10 chipping is to get used to hitting our landing spot, and that's what we want to focus on. Forget about the pin, read it like a putt, and then make sure you focus on getting on your landing spot, because you know if you hit the toe down chip onto that landing spot, it's going to take the break you had selected. Basically exactly the same as picking an aim spot for your putting line. There we go, right next to the tee. Now it should break in, and look at that, nearly perfect distance control, 1.5 feet past the cup. Money. Now we have the final chip, which is the 6 iron. The 6 iron ratio is 1/4 carry, 3/4 rollout. So we have 12 yards to that mark on the green, and then we have 4 yards from here to the tee. 4 yards carry, 12 yards rollout. Remember, on all of these, within the 6-8-10 framework, if it's downhill, increase the loft to the next one. If it's uphill, decrease the loft to the next one. So for example, this is a 6 iron, downhill, we'll just keep the same landing spot, same ratio, 1/4 to 3/4 if it's downhill, but we'll use an 8 iron. If it's uphill with the same ratio, we use the 4 iron. How do we find our landing spot? Majority of the time, your landing spot is within a yard or two of the green, just for simplicity, to always keep that landing spot in the same place. When you get it just on the front, maybe a yard on, it gives you a very reliable place to keep landing the ball, and you can take that consistency in your practice and learn to hit all your lofts onto that spot. So let's hit the 6 iron toe down again. Just a little bit short, and because of that, it should finish short about 5 feet. Now remember, with chipping, we want to get as close as possible, of course, but things happen. You're not going to be perfect every time. If we can get inside 6 feet though, that's when we're going to increase our scrambling exponentially, because inside 6 feet directly correlates to scrambling rate. When you go outside of 6 feet, your scrambling really drops. So give 6 foot as your benchmark. The higher number of shots you can hit inside 6 feet, the better. Come on, let's land this at our spot. That's a bit better, right in line with our spot. And that one's rolling out to about 4 feet. Could we adapt our spot a little bit? Of course we can. You need to adapt this to your speed on your greens. If your greens are faster, you want to keep the same ratio, but maybe you need to up the loft. Maybe yours is a 7-9-11 or a 5-7-9 system. The way you can calculate this is to go from the hole, don't stand on anyone's putting lines, and you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then from your landing spot, because that's where you stop, you've got 12 to your landing spot. Now you go to your ball. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if your ball's here, it's 4 to 12, meaning 1/4, 3/4. If you went further back, boom, boom, now you're at 6 yards from your landing spot. Now you've got 6 to 12, which is 1/3, 2/3, 8 iron. You go further back to your landing spot, now the loft changes. The landing spot is constant, your loft changes, landed on that spot with the correct ratio, you're getting up and down more inside 6 feet like a boozer. That's the Horatio 6-8-10 method.